Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, the new home of power mining analysis. Well, the Orange Man has come out with another big statement in support of the Orange coin, or at least that's what Dennis Porter would like us to believe based on his recent tweet here, talking about Donald Trump announcing a US reserve Bitcoin account at next week's Nashville Bitcoin convention. So this is obviously a groundbreaking and pivotal moment for the sector. We wanted to get on here with Anthony Power, cover this news in addition to some other headlines that have come out this week. Before we get into that though, you guys, please take a second, smash the like button. It's a big help to myself and the channel. Anthony loves it. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to join. We're trying to get 45,000 subscribers before we head down to Nashville Bitcoin next week. We'd love to have you as part of the community. And finally, leave a comment in the section below. Let us know what you think about this expected Trump announcement, the impact you think this will have on the price of Bitcoin, and your overall outlook for the back half of this year. Now, with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay, guys, so that's right. Another big day of news in the Bitcoin mining sector. Anthony, before we get into that, though, the price of Bitcoin itself here struggling to find really a strong footing around that $64,000 level. The Bitcoin miners have pulled back in a fairly big way this morning. I know you were doing some buying in your account, seeming to get a little bit of pullback or breather in light of Monday, Tuesday's big rally, hey?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've seen a bit of a pullback today. Bitcoin price is about 1.5% down, but some of the mining stocks are heading towards 10% down. They have had some good movement in the last week or so, so probably to be expected, maybe a little bit of profit taking. But also it provides an opportunity for people to maybe get back in at a level that they thought they wouldn't get to see again.
Yeah, it certainly does. And I mentioned you were making some trades earlier, Anthony. That's all listed in your Patreon. So I know you publish all your buy and sell trades in there. I would encourage you guys to go take a look at that. I have the same feature on my Patreon. And Anthony, interestingly enough, we now hit 8 members on the channel page as well. So if you guys want to show some support to the YouTube channel or the podcast itself, you're more than welcome to become a member, and we appreciate the support of everyone in the community. Now, speaking of that community, Anthony, one of the main or key members of this community, at least in North America here, is Dennis Porter. He's the co-founder and CEO of the Satoshi Action Fund, and they essentially go around and fight the good fight for all blockchain and proof of work technology. So Dennis put out a tweet this morning. You actually just sent this over to me, talking about rumors, I guess, at this point, that there's going to be a big announcement in Nashville next week from Donald Trump himself, talking about the creation of a strategic reserve for the United States government using Bitcoin as that reserve. Anthony, what is your take on this news, and how is Bitcoin not rallying based on this tweet?
Well, the tweet was announced about 45 minutes ago. So obviously Trump's going to the Nashville conference next week. He's due to be on the stage on the third day, about 2 p.m. And Dennis has been, like you say, he's very well connected in the community. He has been, with a team around him, been going from state to state to get some of the state pension funds looking at buying Bitcoin, but also at the same time showing what Bitcoin's about, educating people, and basically flying the flag for Bitcoin and fighting against some of these states where they've took an adverse look at or adverse view towards Bitcoin. So he's been very successful this year. He's been doing some great work, and he announced 45 minutes ago that that at the conference next week, Trump will announce a Bitcoin strategic reserve, which is that's groundbreaking. That's a bit every now and again we get these big news updates, and this is certainly one of them. I remember when we had the news update that Elon Musk was buying Bitcoin on behalf of his company Tesla, and that sent a spike in the Bitcoin price. This is really big news, and And people say, well, what does this, what does this sort of mean? And, I mean, basically, you have countries at the moment, they'll have gold reserves, and these reserves, are generally used to hedge the country against the economic instability, inflation, currency devaluation, and what's in Trump's mind now is, and he's starting to be a real advocate for Bitcoin, is Bitcoin can replace gold in that vein. So, the Treasury would have to then start buying Bitcoin in the same way as the ETF funds buy Bitcoin, because that you want something to, that's the whole point of having, um, a reserve on Bitcoin is you'd have Bitcoin in the reserve. So this is really, really big news. And Dennis has said, like, it's not a joke. It's not April the 1st. His sources are credible. So, and I've been fortunate to meet Dennis. I met Dennis in Bedford in the UK earlier this year at the Cheat Code conference, and he's a great guy in the space. You should definitely give him a follow, because he only puts out real good updates in relation to Bitcoin, and he's very well connected in the community. So, that tweet now is getting some real traction now, over 220,000 views in the last 45 minutes. So, kudos to him for highlighting that. I was just literally listening into a Spaces meeting where it was announced, and hence I thought of got hold of you, Bryce, and said let's cover this on a podcast.
Yeah.
The people on that Spaces meeting were some of the big hitters as well. Some of the followers were in excess of 1 million followers on Twitter and social media. So there was a big group of people in there, and they were sort of like bowing down to this news update. So really significant, and look forward to hearing it saying it live in just over a week's time.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll be there for this significant groundbreaking announcement. And you are right, there's specific catalysts and points in time. The $10,000 Bitcoin pizza is one of them, right? Elon Musk adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. There's certain things that have happened over the past 10 years or so in Bitcoin's creation that are very memorable. And I think this is going to be one. Now, we've already seen other countries around the world adopt Bitcoin, not only as a reserve, but as their currency. That's seeming to prove out very well. It leads me to the question, Anthony. We've all read the Bitcoin standard, the decoupling of gold versus fiat currency when currency came off the gold standard in the United States. And I know Trump is really interested in the deflationary aspect of Bitcoin. So it does lead to the question, will there one day be a currency that's backed by Bitcoin, or will Bitcoin ever become the eventual world currency? But this is definitely a step in the right direction. And you're exactly right, Anthony. We'll be there in person to hopefully hear and confirm this news on the ground. So speaking of news, another article that came out this week, we haven't got a chance to cover yet. Soluna Cloud actually expanding their investment. So Soluna Cloud is the division of Soluna Holdings that's obviously focused on AI HPC. They've now announced an additional 1.25 million, bringing the total investment in this business division up to 13.75 million. So obviously a real strong vote of confidence and step in the right direction for John and team in terms of the AI HPC pursuit. Hey, Anthony?
Yeah, absolutely. They've already had their GPUs now delivered to the new facility, so they'll be starting to bring the revenues in now. But this is, again, it's on a small scale, so it's only 1.25 increase. But they've got a total investment now of 13.75, and we know the contract is going to deliver between 38 and 80 million over the next 3 years. So another indication that some of these Bitcoin miners are looking into this HPC space. And really, we said many times now, the conversations certainly changed since that announcement in June with the CoreWeave and Core Scientific contract. Many more miners are certainly considering it now, and this is another good update from Soluna. And just another one of these projects that they're doing. So, we'll start getting more updates about the finances. And bear in mind, I think in the presentation, I've told people, look at the presentation in their presentation pack on the website. I don't think it even includes the HPC revenue streams in there yet. So that's on top of what they've put in there for the projects that they're currently managing. So, again, a good update from Soluna.
Interestingly enough, Anthony, very similar to what your panel is going to be discussing in Nashville next week, you're leading the AI and Bitcoin mining discussion. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm very fortunate to be on a panel with three great operators. We've got Aidan Killett, the CEO and president of Hive Digital. We've got Andre Gurman, who's the CEO of Hive Energy. And we have, one of the favorites on channel, Sam Tabar, CEO of Bit Digital. And effectively, I'll be there to sort of like set the landscape for the panel discussion and talk about, the change in the narrative with regards to HPC and AI business models and the miners that are moving into those models. And the impact it's had, and the conversation has changed towards this now. We've looked at the Wall Street analysts, and they're more focused now on HPC because it's more predictable. We just mentioned Soluna's model there. That they're going to get between 38 and 80 million in revenues from their service. And we've got Sam, who's increasing his current service to 92 million of annualized revenues from August. So all these extra machines have been installed in July, and from August they'll be increasing their monthly revenues to around between $7 and $8 million a month. That's significant. I mean, if you just look at Bit Digital from a revenue perspective, in the month of June, they earned $4.1 million from Bitcoin mining, and they earned $4.1 million from HPC services. And I know to a certain degree that the HPC services are currently significantly more profitable. So when we see the quarterly update that will come out from Bit Digital in the month of August, we'll see if they use segmental reporting, they'll report separately their Bitcoin mining and their HPC, and we'll be able to determine how profitable these services were. Now, going back to the first quarter of the year, Bit Digital were achieving 62% net income on their HPC. And we're not getting near that on with regards to Bitcoin mining. Since that quarter, we've had a halving. So effectively, the revenues have halved and the costs haven't changed in terms of their energy costs to mine Bitcoin. So, there's no way that they can be achieving anywhere near the level of profits at the moment with the Bitcoin price. But this is the conversation today, and the conversation in 6 months' time or a year's time, the Bitcoin price hits 150 or 200,000. That changes around to Bitcoin mining, but we're talking about present and we're talking about predictability. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this panel, and find out from these key all three CEOs as to, what opportunities there are for mining companies to diversify into this using their existing infrastructure. What do they see as a landscape over the next 12 to 18 months? So it's really sort of like, giving a really good update, and putting some sort of like more color to the picture that we're seeing at the moment. But yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. Very relevant at this point in time in the sector. I'm going to be hosting a panel on Thursday, Anthony, from 1:30 to 2:10 p.m. So another 40-minute session. Mine is on Bitcoin balance sheets, treasury management for the miners. So this is a very contentious topic as well. It's one we've covered extensively on the channel. I've got Gary Vecchiarelli from CFO of CleanSpark. We've got Jeff Lucas, the CFO of Bitfarms, of course. Daniel Goodman, who's the VP of Risk Management at Core Scientific. So that'll be great to have them in the discussion here. Sean Owen, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Salt Lending. I haven't met Sean yet, so that'll be great to get his perspective on this. And then, of course, myself moderating. So make sure if you're coming down to Nashville, you stop in at the mining stage, you take a look and a listen to both of our panels here. If you're not currently subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to join. We're within striking distance of our goal here, Anthony, 45,000 within the next week. And leave a comment, you guys. We'd love to hear from you, your thoughts on this big announcement today in terms of the US Reserve Bitcoin account and what this means for Bitcoin price, the implications, the adoption curve here. Tremendous news, Anthony, and glad we got on to cover this one. We'll see you back here, same time, same place tomorrow.